Welcome to the Bookworm board game. It's the perfect game for all the book lovers in the land who can never decide what book to read next. Now the rules to the game are simple. You simply roll the dice, move that many spaces, land on a prompt, and then pick a book that correlates to that prompt. And a huge thank you to Misplay for sponsoring this video. More on them later. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. It felt like a good game announcer commercial voice. I don't really know. And this time around, we've made a new addition to the game. I added 2 ladders. I literally drew these like 5 minutes ago. And whenever I get to a point where I cross a ladder, I have to pull the color card that correlates with that ladder. And each ladder has a theme. So our yellow ladder is called, this is probably so cheesy, www.ladder.com, because all the cards that I would pull have to do with me going on the internet. I might post an Instagram story and ask you guys which book I should pick, or I might just like give a random scroll on TikTok. And if someone is recommending a book on my feed, I'll have to read that book. And then we've got the Bridge of Punishment. It's not really like a punishment bridge, but there are things that might take me a little more out of my comfort zone, like reading a really long book that might intimidate me, or a book I had planned to like maybe unhaul, kind of on the fence about reading, things like that. Also, a huge thank you to every creator who's inspired this video. There are tons of TBR board games on TikTok. I actually don't know who to credit because there are so many. Destiny Sidwell also did this game on YouTube along with lots of other creators. And a thank you to my mom, a better artist than me, who helped me draw out this game. Okay, first roll. 3. 1, 2, 3. Been on your TBR the longest. I'm scared because if a book has been on my TBR for a long time, it's probably because I don't feel very motivated to read it. I don't think really any of these books have been on my TBR super long. Let me look around. I'll be right back. Okay, so I actually just got on my computer and I watched like a bunch of my early book shopping videos to see what is actually the book I've owned the longest, and it's Throttled by Lauren Asher. This is a book I really want to read. I cannot believe I've owned this book this long. I have loved the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, so I'd love to read another series by her. I'm a little hesitant because I'm in the middle of so many series. I don't need to start another series, but we have to follow the prompts on the TBR board game, and I do think I'm gonna love this book. It's a Formula One romance, which I just think sounds so cool. Like, I've read so many sports romances where they're like hockey players or football players, something like that, but I've never in my life read a Formula One book. And my boyfriend Danny right now is really obsessed with Formula One. He's watching like a Formula One TV show and he's been telling me about it. So I also feel like I know actually a little about Formula One, so it'd be really fun to read a romance book involving it. First book on the TBR shelf. Okay, roll number 2. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. New adult book. New adult is my favorite thing to read ever. I don't think I've ever read a single college romance that I did not like. I just pulled 2 new adult / college romances off my TBR card, and both of them are a part of series. This is how I always get in the middle of 5 billion series, because I think I just own so many first books in a series, and a lot of times when I buy a book, I don't even realize it's the first book in a series. Like, once I actually just looked these up and was reading more about them, that's when I realized they were part of series. Between these 2, I think I'm more interested in Say You Swear, so I'm gonna put Blindside back. And then here's my debate. Say You Swear sounds so good. I love reading books by authors I've never read before. It's a football college romance. But I also am in the middle of the Briar U series by Elle Kennedy, and I've only read the first book, so the second book, The Risk, I could also put on my TBR, because then I would be actually working towards finishing a series I'm in the middle of. But I also want to read this book, so that's where I'm torn. I think I'm gonna go with The Risk. I don't own it, but it'd be fun to do a little book shopping trip in March. Okay, so imaginary The Risk is going on here. Time for roll number 3. We're coming up to a bridge. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the bridge! So the space I landed on is small town setting, so let's do this one first. I already know what I want to do. I'm gonna add Juniper Hill. This is the second book in the Edens series. See, why is everything a series? Literally every book I own is part of a series. Okay, anyway. I really loved it, and I feel like I haven't heard a ton of people talk about this series. It's so good, or at least the first book was so good. It takes place in a small town. It feels very similar to me to the Chestnut Spring series, and there's a whole bunch of siblings in the Eden family, and they all do different jobs, which is really fun. Like the first book, I think he was a rancher, but then in this one he's a chef, which is really fun. I think another sibling like owns like an inn. All right, now to go across the bridge, we've got to pull an internet card. There's only 3 cards because I could not think of that many prompts, so I'm just gonna shuffle these and then pick one. This one says random book talk scroll. So I'm gonna search book talk, give a random scroll and see what happens. This is kind of like a wildcard prompt. I don't know if this is gonna work out because I ideally would like to come across a book that I own. The best book they've read this summer. Okay. A Little Life. Okay, I've already read A Little Life, so sad. Does not feel like a summer book, but love that for this person. Okay, I've just clicked a random different TikTok, and let's see, what are these books she wish she could read again? As Good as Dead, I've read it. Ignite Me, have read. Seven Husbands, read. Twisted Games, okay. I have read Twisted Games, but I have not read Twisted Hate, which is the third book in the series. Okay, exciting. I'm actually really intrigued by this book because the first book in the series I didn't love. I feel like the book boyfriend was very possessive, alpha male type, and that's not really my thing. But then the second book I super love. So I'm curious how I feel about the third book because it could go either way. This one is also thick, almost 500 pages. Wild. We've got 4 books so far. And if we go across the ladder, we end on seasonal book. So seasonal book, I feel like the prompt fits every season except for spring. Like summer, obviously like a summer read. Fall, I feel like a lot of books like mystery thrillers give you fall moods. Winter would be like a Christmas book. Wait, are we still in winter? I totally thought it was spring. Okay, hang on. Spring does start in March, so I wasn't that far off. In Texas, it gets so hot so early. Like it's like 80 degrees outside, so in my head, it is spring. But I'm picking the book for March. And March will be spring towards the end. We're gonna go with spring. Maybe that's silly. And if we're doing spring, I have the perfect book. In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. B.K. Borison has a 4-book series called the Love Light series, and she said that every book in the series is supposed to reflect a different season, which is so cute. Like, what a cool idea. And the first book is a Christmas book, and the second book is a spring book. It's got flowers on the cover, which is so spring vibes. I actually don't know what it's about. It says, a grumpy farmer and a no-nonsense social media influencer have another chance at love in this charming romantic comedy. I loved the first book, Love Light Farms. Evelyn, the social media influencer, and then Beckett, the farmer, were both in the first book, Love Light Farms. So I'm very excited to read about their story. Also, how many books do I want to pick in this video? I think I'm gonna go with 10. I don't expect to actually read 10 books in March, but I feel like I'm very much a mood reader. So to me, it's always nice to not have a TBR where I have to literally read every single book. I want to feel like I have choice, but still a focus with my TBR. Also, I have read, I think, 16 books so far this year, which is a lot for me. A big thing for me this year is hobbies. Reading has always been a big hobby of mine, but I've been trying to like extra focus in my free time on not just doom scrolling or watching TV, but actually doing hobbies that make me like feel good and fulfilled. So reading has been a big one. I've also gotten really into gaming, just like soft, cute, adorable games. I love like cooking games or time management games, simulation games. And with all of my gaming, I've started using Misplay, who is actually the sponsor of today's video. You can earn rewards through Misplay simply by discovering and playing mobile games. I have discovered so many games through their site, like Cooking Madness, I've been really getting into. Maybe I was supposed to be a chef in another life. And the more you play, the more points that you earn, and you can redeem your points for gift cards. Good morning, it's Ali from earlier in the day, and I actually just hit the amount of points that I need to redeem my first gift card with Misplay, which is so exciting. Lately, I have been waking up and gaming. I feel like it's such a nice way to relax, but also challenge my brain with puzzle games or strategy games. So Misplay has been fitting so nicely into my morning routine. I have not redeemed any of my points yet because I'm still saving up for a bigger Amazon gift card, honestly, so I can buy more books. And you can go to my link, which is linked in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen to download Misplay. It's completely free to download, and you'll get 200 bonus points for signing up today. Plus, you can use my code to get 50 free points, which is a huge help towards redeeming your first gift card. Next roll is 1. Okay, random color cover. I'm gonna get a random color generator, and whatever color we get, I have to pick a book whose cover matches that color. Okay, I think when I click on this website, it'll just pop up with a color. Blue. Okay, the 2 blue books I'm most intrigued by is Spinning Silver, which is a standalone romantasy that's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and then Ruthless Vows, which everyone knows is sequel to Divine Rivals. This is hard because I think I'm a little more excited about Ruthless Vows, to be honest, but we do have every single book on our TBR right now is a part of a series, and I think at some point in March I'm gonna want to read a standalone book, so I think I'm gonna go with Spinning Silver. And we are getting close to the bridge I do not want to cross, so please don't be a 1. 3. Thank goodness. 1, 2, 3. Ask a friend to choose. Okay, wait, that's so fun because I've been choosing all the books, so now we can ask someone else. I'm so indecisive. It's so hard for me to choose anything. So now I don't have to. Okay, who do I want to text? Who will also respond to me today? The hard part is I think all my friends are at work, and I don't want to have to like come back in a few hours when they get out of work to update you guys. I'd rather just get our whole TBR finished now. So I think I'm gonna text my mom because she is retired, but I promise I have friends outside of my mom.
Hello.
Hello, I'm filming a video where I need someone to pick which book I'm gonna read next. Will you pick my next read?
Okay.
I will send you a picture. It's called A Million Junes by Emily Henry. It's an old Emily Henry book, like way before Beach Read and all her popular ones. Some Shall Break. It's a young adult murder mystery involving, I think, serial killers. Did I have you read None Shall Sleep? I did. Okay, this is the sequel.
Oh, okay. So far I like Emily Henry and that sounds more intriguing.
Okay. I don't know how well or not you could hear the phone audio, but I basically sent my mom a picture of A Million Junes by Emily Henry and then Some Shall Break by Eleni Marnie. This is the sequel to None Shall Sleep. I love None Shall Sleep. It's a young adult murder mystery and it follows a serial killer, which I think is so interesting. And not just a serial killer, a juvenile serial killer. So like teen serial killer. And then 2 teens are helping the FBI investigate this serial killer. And then the second option is A Million Junes by Emily Henry. And the plot of like the summary honestly like isn't giving me much. It basically just says that June has always been told to stay away from this family and then she runs into one of the guys, Saul, from this family and sparks fly, and that's it. Like the summary is this big. And then the genre on Goodreads is listed as romance and magical realism, which I think is so interesting. Like how is the magical realism gonna come into play? And my mom reads a lot of the same books I do. She's read all of Emily Henry's like other big hits and loved them, and then she also read None Shall Sleep, the first book, so she's like the perfect person to help me decide between these two. And as you heard, she picked A Million Junes. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nature, word, and title. If you couldn't tell in the last few spaces of the board, I was definitely running out of ideas. So this one's like kind of a weird random prompt, but it basically can be any nature word in the title, like juniper hill would have counted, or like in the weeds, like weeds are plants. I just went and read the title of every single book I own but haven't read yet, and I couldn't find a single one, which I'm very surprised about. I thought there would be some fantasy book that maybe talked about an ancient tree or a great mountain or something like that. But no, nothing. I think I literally already picked the only 2 books with nature words, weeds and hill, out of all the books I own, so we're gonna roll again. It feels like a bummer, like I have lost the game, even though I'm only playing against myself and there is no way to win or lose. 4. 1, 2, 3, and then let's go back to the beginning for next book in a series. I've already picked so many books in a series, but we're gonna pick another one. It shouldn't be hard because I'm in the middle of so many series. I wanna go with Ruin and Rising. I really wanna finish this series so I can get to 6 of Crows next, because everybody talks so highly of 6 of Crows and I have to know what all the hype's about. Ruin and Rising is the last book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I like this trilogy. The first book I loved so much. And then the second book, I felt okay about. To me, the second book kind of felt like a setup for book 3, which was a bummer, but also I'm kind of hoping that it was a setup for a really epic book 3, so I will hopefully love this one. Luca, you're kind of making it hard to play the bookish board game. I love you, but you're blocking all of the important spaces. The game is still playable, so let's continue on. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this one's fun. Book another booktuber is reading. I'm gonna go on Goodreads and see what everybody is up to. This is actually so fun because I do not know what anybody's reading. Destiny Sidwell. She only has recently reads, no current reads. Haley Pham. Same, only recently reads. Is no one putting like what they're actually reading right now on anymore? Or maybe everyone's between books. Okay, let's see what Sarah Caroli's reading. What is going on? Only recently reads. I feel like Alexa Ray always has her current read on here. Ruthless Vows. Okay, that's literally perfect because I own it and it's on my TBR. I'm curious what you guys thought of Divine Rivals. I really like Divine Rivals. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I feel like everyone that I was seeing read it though gave it 5 stars and was like one of the best books of the year. Like they loved it so much. I don't think I felt that excited about it, but I did really like it. I'm really hoping that in this book we get more into the war and the politics of the world and the mythology especially. I want to know way more about the mythology, and based on how Divine Rivals ended, I think we will, but that's what I'm hoping for in this book. Luca has taken the game pieces and is playing with them. All right, 9 books already picked, 1 more left. Okay, Luca, I might have to take the dice. Oh. Okay, it seems like you're done with it. The dice has been recovered. Let's roll 1 more time. 2. Cat chooses, how fitting. I'm gonna pick 3 books, put a treat on each book, and then see which book Luca goes to first. All right, I pulled 3 romances. First we have Final Offer, which is the last book in the Dream Man Billionaire series. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read this book in March, even if it doesn't get picked. So maybe it's a little cheating to include it, but if Luca picks it, it's an easy one for me to knock off my TBR because I'm very confident I'm gonna read it. And then we've got The Nanny and Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, which are both standalone romances. We need more standalones in this row because we've got a lot of series. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute is a young adult romance, and it's my pick for my this month's book club. If you want to join, come join. The link is in the description, and we read a different book every single month and chat about it. But yeah, this book sounds very adorable. The characters are in the wilderness doing like a survival course kind of thing, which I think is going to be so cute and fun as the backdrop for a romance book. And then The Nanny, I've been really wanting to read this book ever since I bought it. The thing that intrigued me is that the main character has an OnlyFans account, and I'm just so intrigued like how the author is going to write about that. And I've never read anything by Lana Ferguson before, but she has some other books that I've had my eye on, so if I read this book and like it, then I'll definitely get more books by her. Okay, where's he going? Oh, I feel like he always picks the one in the middle. Every time I've done this, he picks the middle book. It's so funny. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute it is. Book number 10. Now we have our final TBR. I feel pretty good about this TBR. I would be starting 1 new series, which is unfortunate. I'm trying not to start any new series, but I would also be working towards finishing 6 series. 6 of these will be from series I'm in the middle of. Honestly, that feels good. And then we've got 3 standalones. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me on my TBR board game. I think it'd be so fun to play the TBR board game maybe every few months and potentially mix it up. Like maybe I do a completely new board next time, or do more like additions to the board, like the ladders. So let me know if you guys have any ideas for a different way to make the TBR board game feel new every time. And wish me luck on actually completing my March TBR. All right, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.